So let's take some emails.
Hey, if you want to send in an email, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
Got one coming in from Alice. Says, I was listening to old podcasts, uh, Dear Punch Daddy and Ginger Saliva. I was listening to old podcasts, and the bit about the colostomy bag being a weak point gave me a thought. Does can showing someone with hemorrhoids inflict bleed?
Yeah, it does. It literally does. You ever have hemorrhoids?
Not really.
It sucks, dude. It hurts your ass.
At what point do you cut your fingers off?
Pardon?
The person who can shows you. That's done. It's over. You lose your fingers, right?
I'm sorry, what? I genuinely don't understand.
The
Why would I
person-
cut my own fingers off if I can't show somebody?
If you can showed somebody who had hemorrhoids and you inflicted bleed on them,
Yeah.
you also inflicted that shit blood on your fingers.
I mean, I figured that I was ready for it, considering I was ready to get the poop on there anyway.
Well, I would say it's time to just lose your fingers and or die.
I don't think you should be canceling people if this is the kind of attitude you're going to have towards your own fingers post game.
I agree. It's a bad way to go. And what are you going to do? You're going to put some soft gloves on it that loosens the impact? That softens the blow?
Like a woolen glove or like a...
God, that's so horrifying. That's so fucking gross. Ah.
one who just said it.
Well, the question came up, but I'm like, what about your? All right, we need to stop.
Why are you doing this?
You got fingernails, man.
I don't. I chew those things. It's disgusting, but hey, it means that I won't cut someone's asshole if I happen to attack them. In their asshole.
The answer, I suppose, then is yes to the question. That's fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Having hemorrhoids is tough. You ever have anal fissures? That's terrible.
Yep, I've had the cuts. The cuts I have had, and that is.
I'll tell you right
annoying.
now, Wolves. That's about the experience somebody with hemorrhoids would have.
Yeah.
The only thing worse than that is the fact that you're shitting into an open wound.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awful.
Not great. That was a rough point. And until it heals,
every time you go to the bathroom,
every trip to the bathroom is agony. Exactly. Like, just straight up. Anyway.
You're like, what if I just didn't shit for like 10 days? Would that solve it? The answer is yes, but it would give you a new, possibly worse problem.
Duke wants to know, I'm sure you, like most people, have thought about what your fatalities would be in Mortal Kombat, but what would your friendship be? I've got one.
What do you got?
My friendship in Mortal Kombat would be me pulling out a Neo Geo Pocket Color, connected by wire, and I'd hand it to the opponent, and then we'd squat and start playing, and it would be like the Sakura versus Kyo art.
Okay.
Where he's losing and she's winning, and it's like, yeah. We'd be playing Neo Geo Pocket Color together.
I would bake a cake and give the person the cake. Because a good way to become friends with somebody is to give them candy.
Well, I wouldn't classify cake as candy.
I don't remember when I started to do it, but I started to call everything that had sugar in it candy.
Yeah, no. It's a nice treat, but it's not candy. That's stupid.
Yeah, well. We're going on the rule set of things Paige tells me I can't eat as candy. So, cake is candy.
No, cake is a class, and candy is our class.
She also calls everything cakes, like muffins, as has been discussed ad
Yeah,
nauseam.
well, I'm not getting into that shit. Like, fuck that nonsense. But you know, they're like the cakes and candy are both like high up on the folder hierarchy. There's a lot of shit to dive
And
into.
I want to. Oh, I've been dating for so
now,
long,
now,
and I haven't been like. It's been
Pat.
years and years, years and years since I've like just eaten a whole cake.
Now, here's the thing. My grandmother's manner of speaking might actually come in to help you here.
How's that?
Because there was a word she would use to describe both of those things. She would call
What's
them
that?
sweets.
Yeah, that's true.
Candy and cake were classified as sweets.
Yeah, that's true.
So, if you want to use your language, you can be a little more accurate there.
Why would I want to use my language correctly? It's not like I have a job related to language. I'm just some dumb video game man. Oh man, you know what that reminds me of, Wooly?
Mm-hmm.
The scrub quote equivalent of talking to people on the internet, which was just like, yeah, I think so and so is actually stupid anyway. I never take their opinion seriously. It's like, well, stop following me on Twitter then, dumbass. Oh man, hasn't the past like week or two just been fucking sick for getting shitheads off your social media?
Well, it sounds like you've been on that ride and flexing it, but you know, I don't flex the button as much as other people do. I flex it very rarely because I'm content to just see the shit. Because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, and then here you go. Here's my phone. Here's my phone. Here's the button. Now my phone's over here.
You know what the turning point for me was on
What?
that? For the block button?
What?
Was when I realized that this particular type of person, the one that demands that you debate them in DMs, how they lose their fucking mind when you block them.
I see. That's why you don't mute, right?
Oh no. Well, you shouldn't. I don't think muting is what you should do in almost any situation. Muting is like, this person's all right, but they're stupid, and I don't want to hear them.
Well, the
anymore.
thought process there is they will never know, but
yeah,
you know, or whatever.
Blocking, if you particularly have a big follow list, right? If you got a lot of followers, muting people kind of sucks because your followers also have to deal with them, even if you don't. Right.
Right. Yeah, I get that, but like I said, for me, I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah,
it's like, okay,
it's enjoyable.
There it is.
Very fun to do.
I would not ever. I'm not recommending my course of action, but for me personally, I don't fucking care, dude. It doesn't.
Well, you also like the cringe.
I don't need to shield.
You're born in the cringe.
I don't need to shield myself from the absolute shit fit mess that's about to occur.
Oh, Wooly, don't misunderstand. It's not a shield, it's a sword.
Okay.
It's not I don't want to see what you're saying. It's I want to take your ability to say it to me away. Because that's where the pain comes in. That's where the anger comes in. And I think, is there anything more pathetic, for real, than getting blocked by somebody on a social media and then running to their significant other to beg them to get unblocked?
Yeah, it's not great. That's a bad look.
It's really funny.
No, but I was just gonna say the oftentimes the course of action plays out in such a way that like dumb thing is said, and then other people that are like interacting in the thread will just go, "That was dumb," and then someone else goes, "That was really dumb," and then it'll be like, it'll just play itself forward anyway, you know. sword or no sword almost, but yeah, is what it is. You know, you guys have mastered the art of the dunk, so to speak.
Well, I wouldn't say I've mastered it. I'm still learning. Peaches, though, she's been spending a long time on that shit. I don't know why people still try.
Yeah, I generally go a different way, but every once in a while there's definitely some again, there's some straw men that are like, "Are you real? I want to poke
Yes,
I want to poke the straw.
They are.
I want to poke the straw and find out if you're real."
It rains on them and they kind of melt.
Yeah. And of course, I'm always open to the possibility that somewhere deep down inside, you might actually start making sense somewhere, which is extremely unlikely, but you never know. You never know.
Adorable almost.
I have seen people like threads ending in apologies and mind and a okay. I've seen it. But it's wild to ever fucking expect it, for sure. But more so than that, I was gonna say, is your other conclusion in the as I mentioned earlier, God, I'm so lonely,
So lonely.
Shamelessly.
And then when I hit that block button, you'll just be one person lonelier. Oh.
Shamelessly, hopelessly addicted to hentai.
Oh, poor Bidoff.
Pepper says, "Dear Woolie Infinite and Void Lord Pat, recently Hearthstone
What is going on with this email? Is it written like that?
No, recently Hearthstone. But my brain jumped ahead to the noise, so I said recently because it created a lisp where there was none because of the word Hearthstone. So, recently Hearthstone released a new expansion which included a new character class, the Demon Hunter. Decided to check it out, had some initial fun. After a short bit, I eventually hit a losing streak and lost my damn mind. Hit to tilt really hard. And, I used to hit it even harder, but I got better in recent years. It sent me over the edge into rage territory. I'm not proud of it. And when my spouse noticed what was going on, she said, "Oh, it's that game you hate." And then it hit me. Anytime I go back to this game, I lose my shit and get frustrated. Souls never did this to me, but Hearthstone, for whatever reason, gets under my skin easily. Deleted the game then and there because it just wasn't worth it. You ever made yourself stop playing a game because you recognized it's bad for you?
Yeah, but I usually recognize, like, as part of the process, like, or like, it's not like something that I'll play for a long time that I'll realize. I'll just be like, I'll spend an afternoon with something and be like, I hate this. This is making me just pissed off.
Yeah.
This is, I'm, fuck.
I don't, like, not much comes to mind because I feel like there's a lot of cases where when I know that I don't know a lot, like I don't enjoy, but I super don't mind the thrashings because I'm like, oh, there's so much more to get here. You know what I mean? But when I do, there's definitely like, okay, so the closest thing I can think of is there would be nights where I would go out to our locals and I would enter a tournament and then I would do like casuals. And if I did badly in tournament and then in casuals I did like a long set and just got absolutely nowhere, that would like spoil the night. I'd come back home and I'd feel bummed out. And that's the closest thing I can think of, because you'd basically be like, well, fuck me. Like, I failed my test to see where I'm at, and it looks like I've gone backwards in progress. And a lot of the times it's like the person you're fighting will be like, actually, I've been grinding in this matchup and I've been leveling it up and I've been trying new things out and I've been specifically trying to beat you, So, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. So now we got to take it to the next level. But there was a couple times when I'd be like, why am I worse right now? What is happening? And you just don't even know what's going on. And you're not even accounting for like who you're fighting against. And then like you end up like, yeah, I've gone home feeling sour, a couple times with that. But the full-on, like, I'm addicted, and then I come back, and then super tilt, and then, like, don't recognize it, and, like, where it's, like, it's a bad state of mind. Like, I don't think I've had that.
Yeah, I tend to recognize very quickly if something's making me, like, horribly miserable. Like, there was a period when I was playing Dead by Daylight a while ago, before some changes, where I was infuriated. And I stopped playing it for a couple months. Came back, it's good.
If there's a game where, like, mechanically I just can't wrap my head around it, or it just doesn't seem fun to me, I'll catch that fairly quickly, you know, and I'll oftentimes, like, I'll say it outright. I'll just be like, hey, you know what? This is not fun for me. Like, I understand what it's asking me to do, but I don't enjoy that process. And at that point, I wouldn't go further into it. I'd just back off, you know?
I'm seeing a lot of people say Overwatch, like an astonishing amount of people play Overwatch, and you know what? I think that is the only one I can think of that did follow this pattern, where Overwatch had so much good going on, and I played it, and I would just get pissed off every single time, and I had like a full week of playing Overwatch every night and coming away fucking miserable, and I was like, what am I doing? It's a bummer. Can we get Overwatch Classic, please?
I mean, shit. Like, they did announce Overwatch 2, didn't they? Oh,
Still makes sense.
I forgot that fucking thing existed.
Yeah, me too.
Last but not least, got one coming in here with the title, I Was Cancelled for Racism.
Okay.
To the Lords of CSB. In the wake of the murder of George Floyd, some idiot racist white teenagers started a social media challenge where they physically reenacted the position he died in, person on the ground and another with the knee on the neck. It was a huge problem for many reasons, which were all incredibly obvious. Yep, I did see that too. It became more of a problem for me specifically, though, when one particular very viral post included one of the kids' names in the corner, and he happens to have the exact same name as me. Also, one of the two kids looks strikingly similar to me. It should be obvious, but I was neither of those kids. Over the course of about a week now, I've had waves of dozens of people targeting me, trying to ruin my life in whatever ways they can. I've made numerous public statements with sufficient evidence that I'm not them, including the news article in which they are arrested days before on a different continent. But nevertheless, new people show up every day to harass family members in whatever channels they can to get me. What's the worst mix-up you've ever been roped in? And how did it turn out?
I've never been mixed up. I'm too obviously myself.
Well, there is the other guy with your name.
Yeah.
That is also in media and arts.
And in the city.
Yes.
But he's cool.
So that's the closest thing I can imagine.
How many other Woolie Maddens are there around?
One.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
This is news to you?
Is this... Wait, why are you acting so shocked?
Because it's the one that I have to defeat.
Oh, it's your dad. Oh, I forgot your dad named you after himself. Because wouldn't your name then be Woolie Jr.?
Yeah, but not when it gets not when it's just like first name last name.
No, you're Woolie Jr. now.
But I'm not.
Unless you get your own Woolie, then you become Woolie Sr.
I can grab you identification where we have the same identification name on our cards.
Okay, but you've never been mixed up with your dad.
Not mixed up with, no, but the same name is there, ultimately. So there's one other.
This is about mix-ups, Woolie! The whole context implied that there'd be a completely different
No,
person.
I was answering your question of there's no other Woolie Madden, is there? And I said there's one. It was just answering your question. You asked me a direct question that I answered. It was not saying that I was in
his email address. I'm gonna bitch at him for this.
Okay, well, like, you know, I was just following up on
confusing read for him in the world.
But yes, sorry to hear that. The wrong guy. That's a fucking shitty rough one, and no one will ever take a second to stop and maybe notice that. Which, yeah, especially if like you have to turn all of your like banners, branding, and photos to "I'm not that guy." I'm not like, you know, like that's a hard one. It does eventually in time go away, but like, sorry to hear that, man.
Is that the podcast?
That's the podcast. See what happens when you don't name your kids original names. See what happens when you don't name them Sephiroth or Riku
Khaleesi.
or Khaleesi.
Oh, Khaleesi. Oh, man.
That's it. So, you know, maybe you should reconsider. Maybe you need to give them some dumb bullshit names. Maybe you can spare them these mix-ups.
Maybe.
By the way, what the fuck is Vorthos? Like Tim, Johnny, Spike, and Mel are normal people. What the fuck is Vorthos? Is that a character or
it's the name of a D&D nerd lore hound sounding dumbass.
I've never heard of I've never heard of a person named Vorthos in my life.
It's like imagine you had a friend of yours, right? And they introduced themselves to you and said, "My name is like Sasuke." That's a Vorthos.
My name is A12.
Yeah, see, there you go. There you fucking go. That kid's fucked, dude.
It sucks. I feel so bad. But you just kind of just you grab something else, right? And you just roll with it. You just go, yeah, Bob, whatever, Leia, Greg. Yeah. You know, you pick something, you just roll with it.
I've said it before, but my mother didn't want to name me Patrick because she hates the nickname Pat and didn't want me to be referred to as Pat. And my dad was like, "Oh, don't worry, no one will call him Pat. Everyone will call him Patrick," which gets funnier every year.
Yeah, I think I fully expect upon that kid, you know, reaching the age of awareness that they'll just be like, fucking just call me Ash and shut up.
Why couldn't you name me something normal like Soda Pop?
Well, wasn't there literally like a thing that was like, for the sake of mental health and the child's life, we will not allow you to
bullshit.
You cannot put this hyphen in the name.
Yeah.
So
turns out naming your kid a bunch of weird bullshit causes them to become a target.
Okay, wait, but we were just saying that naming them weird bullshit will avoid them from becoming a target. So now what?
Well, fuck. This is a problem.
This is a problem.
I guess you're fucked.
You're fucked.